Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here. We are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Wednesday, March 22nd slate of NBA action. Super excited to dive into it. We have a pretty good slate of NBA games on today, and I found really good spots that I like to target. So before we go ahead and dive into that, we were super close to bringing out the shades, doing something crazy for 2 clean sweeps in a row, but unfortunately, we missed by just one stat. And we'll go ahead and talk about that here in just a minute. But before we did, I did just want to go ahead and say that we are still currently on the road to 12,000 subscribers. We are currently less than 200 away at the time of recording this video. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys do like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Next, I did just want to go ahead and give a quick shout out here to all of our members here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do, and thank you guys so much for giving such a small channel such a big chance, as I always say. It truly does mean the absolute world to me, so much more than you guys will ever know. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into a quick recap as of yesterday. We ended up going 3-1, as I had mentioned. So we did end up having Donovan Mitchell over 26.5 points versus Brooklyn. He actually ended up getting injured in this one, or I don't really know exactly what happened, but he ended up getting subbed out of the game, runs back to the locker room, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh man, we're going to lose this one. He ends up getting injured, but he actually came out and was perfectly fine, so I really have no idea what was wrong with Donovan Mitchell, but he ended up coming back in and getting it done here for us pretty easily. Then we had Jason Tatum over 27.5 points here versus Sacramento. This one was pretty simple, pretty easy too, I got to be honest. This one was a third quarter cash, and it was literally sweat free. Jason Tatum had 15 points in the first quarter, and he really just kept things going. He ends up having a really big night here for the Boston Celtics, and it ended up working out. So, then we ended up having our added play. Shout out Jimmy. Shout out Jimmy. He had a great call in my comment section of John Collins over 5.5 rebounds, and that one ended up working out for us as well. He finishes with 7, so the line even moved up. It opened up at 4.5, and then as soon as DeJounte Murray ended up getting ruled out, bumped it up to 5.5, and then after that, it just kept going up. It got all the way up to 6.5. He crushed that too. So great call by Jimmy overall. And then we did have our one loss. We did have Russell Westbrook over 25.5 PRAs versus OKC, minus 130. Finishes right with 25. Man, it was so close. It was so incredibly close, but unfortunately he doesn't play most of the fourth quarter, and then Paul George ends up getting injured. I hope it's nothing too serious, but Paul George ends up getting injured in that one, and then Russell Westbrook gets subbed back in, gets a bucket and a rebound, puts him right at 25. He only had 1 assist today. 1 assist. And so, it is what it is. We ended up losing that one right on the hook. We are on a massive heater right now. We are on a 10-3 run here currently. And man, hopefully we can keep this thing going. We've had a total of 4 straight winning days. Let's go ahead and make it 5. Why not? Let's keep this thing rolling. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into our first official play of the day. First official play of the day, we are going with Nikola Jokic over 23.5 points here versus the Washington Wizards at minus 120 odds. Now, Jokic has been really good to this line here recently. He has covered in 5 out of his last 6 games. And versus Washington, I don't know if he has a personal vendetta against them or what, but he's covered in 5 straight games here versus the Washington Wizards. And I think that we see another matchup where he is going to easily be able to hit this over as well. Washington also allows the 5th most points per game to opposing centers this season. So they do give up a lot of points to that center position, which obviously is very good for this bet. Not to mention, Jokic actually averages more points per game on the road than he does at home. Every other stat is way better at home. Every single other stat. But when it comes to scoring, he's actually a better scorer on the road. So sign me up for that one. And Washington also allows the 11th most points in the paint in the entire NBA. So you're talking about a team that gives up a lot of paint points to an inside center that I know that Jokic can stretch the floor for sure, but where he really thrives is when he is inside. So they do allow the 11th most paint points in the entire NBA, so I think that's a really good spot to target as well. So that is going to be our first official play of the day. Nikola Jokic over 23.5 points here versus Washington at minus 120 odds. Now for our second official play of the day, we're taking Bam Adebayo under 19.5 points here versus the Knicks at minus 130 odds. Now, Bam Adebayo, if you look at his game log here recently, he has hit the over in 3 straight games. He's been very good to this line in the last 3. But I think this is a spot that we end up dialing it back just a little bit, because before those 3 games, he ended up going under in 4 straight. I know that seems a little bit sketchy to me, and I think that we do see another instance where he does end up going under on this one. Also, the Knicks do allow the fewest points per game to that center position in all of basketball. Mitchell Robinson does a very good job at defending the rim, and that is where Bam Adebayo thrives. He is not really a stretch big, to say the least. He can, shoot the mid-range, but he's not a three-point shooter. He's much more of an inside center. And with that being said, Mitchell Robinson does a great job of locking that up. Bam Adebayo has gone under in 4 out of his last 5 games, and the one game that he ended up going over, Mitchell Robinson was not playing in that one. So you're talking about a Knicks team that was missing a great defensive piece, and then all of a sudden that's how Bam Adebayo ended up going over. So I love the spot here, and also he does average fewer points per game at home. There's not a lot of players that average more points on the road than they do at home, but Bam Adebayo is one of those players. So I love the spot here, and the Knicks allow the fewest points in the paint in the entire NBA. So they give up almost no paint points to opposing teams, and I think this is a spot that we do want to target. I know that Bam Adebayo is a good player, but the over-under is super, super low. Both teams are very slow-paced. I think it's going to be a very tough game here for Bam Adebayo, so I really do like this one here for our second official play of the day. Bam Adebayo under 19.5 points here versus the Knicks at -130 odds. Now for our third and final play of the day, we are going with Anthony Davis over 25.5 points here versus the Suns at -125 odds. Now I know. Before I get any comments, I know if you guys don't want to take this, don't take it. But I do think this is a spot that Anthony Davis ends up going over. Just give him one more chance. I know, just give him one more chance. But realistically, Anthony Davis, I think this is a really good spot here for him. There is going to be no DeAndre Ayton here for the Phoenix Suns. I don't think there's going to be anybody else on that roster that's going to be able to give Anthony Davis a run for his money. I think that he's going to absolutely feast on this team, and then he has also coming off of a terrible game last game where he ended up having 15 points. Could we see a bounce back as of today? I surely do think so, and he has gone over in 2 out of his last 3 games and over in 7 of his last 10. So that's 70%. Sign me up. That is pretty good odds there, and he also has played this Phoenix team earlier in the year, and he ended up dropping 37 points on them. So I'm just saying, I think that we see another similar instance where he does at least get to 30. I think that would be a little bit of good plus value if you wanted to sprinkle some on that, but nonetheless, I think this is a great line. It's dropped a lot because he had a stinker game last game. I think he crushes this line. So that is going to be our third and final play of the day. Anthony Davis over 25.5 points here versus the Suns at -125 odds. Now, I do want to talk about a potential lean or maybe 2 that I may end up adding to the pinned comment section and on my Twitter, so make sure you guys are following both of those spots. But if Scotty Barnes is ruled out of this game, I am probably going to be taking either Pascal Siakam over in points or Fred VanVleet over in points. They have both been feasting with Scotty Barnes not on the floor, and I think that we see another similar situation with that. So be on the lookout. If Scotty Barnes is out, more than likely I will have Pascal Siakam or Fred VanVleet added to the card. They both have great matchups here versus Indiana. So I think that if Scotty Barnes is out, one of those 2 is probably getting added. So I just wanted to get that out there. So make sure you guys check the pinned comment section and make sure you guys check out my Twitter. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, we are still currently on the road to 12,000 subscribers. We are less than 200 subscribers away at the time of recording this video, so make sure that you guys are subbed. But that's going to do it for me. This is King Center signing out. Peace.